it. My name is Ricky and I'm an alcoholic. Can anybody hear me
Okay.
okay? I'm on my tablet, so my computer went kaput. But anyway, what that means, I have a disease centered in my thinking, and I can't think my way out of it, and I can't apply principles without God. Before I start, I always like to tell a joke, and it's a short one. What's the difference between a pregnant lady and a light bulb? You can unscrew a light bulb. But anyway, um, why did I come to Alcohol Anonymous? I had a drinking and drug issue. I thought, because my life was not progressing. So when I arrived at Alcohol Anonymous, and I first heard this guy said he had 30 days, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, that's impossible. And then me and my magnifying mind with a good justification, I said, 30 days. They ain't talking about nights, so you can stay sober during the day and drink at night. But that's how my mind works. It's always looking for a loophole. It's not looking for accountability. I'm always transferring blame. When I first heard that, my full flight for reality and outright mental defective, I didn't like that very much because I thought my material life was good, so I didn't have a mental problem. Real cunning, baffling, and powerful. This is how it started for me. When I had a friend of mine named Dexter. He was a cool kid in the neighborhood. And one day, I go to place to place to place, try to fit in. And, something that happened and I get a resentment. Now I know what it was, but I didn't know back then based on some fear because I wasn't belonging. And I go to another neighbor, go to different kids. So one day, these kids said something I disagree with, and I was walking away. And Dexter picked me up and took me to his house. And, driving around the neighborhood, I thought I was a good, cool kid because I had a ride with the cool kid. All I wanted to belong to somebody. I just want to fit in. I had this abnormal way of processing information. I never reacted normally to any emotional situation. I always go back into my PV brain and try to figure things out, and never worked. And it never worked. So when I went to Dexter's house and he had some pizza and beer, and I never, I had a ominous warning about beer doing the health classes and stuff like that. They said, if you drink this, it's a gateway to other drugs and stuff like that. And I didn't want to do that. When I got to his house, he brought the pizza and the beer out, and he looked. All I really wanted was some Kool-Aid, but he said, he popped, back then the tabs came off. He took his tab off. I took mine off. I put it back in the beer like he did. Took the swig and went down my esophagus, hit my stomach, splash. I wasn't dark complexion and nappy hair. I was light skinned with green eyes and knocking dance. I was out of myself. My alcoholism, my self-talking mind was treated at that moment, and my mind recorded it. And remember that success, the ease and comfort by taking that first drink. And I remember I looked at that, when I first took it, and I looked at him and said, what's wrong? I said, beer doesn't taste well. I don't like the taste. And he said, and I looked at him, he said, what's wrong? I said, the beer is stale. He said, stale? My mother bought this. He said, what kind of beer are you used to drinking? And the only thing I could think of was Rainier Ale. If anybody had Rainier Ale, that's the nastiest beer on the market, but gives you a great buzz. And so it was sitting and we was watching the Gunsmoke, I think. And he says, just chill and relax. I said, let's go out and do something, man. Let's go. So I had an abnormal reaction. And, he said, no, man, you can go ahead and go. So I went out, did some stuff and came home late, got a whooping, didn't care, didn't feel it. And I was, my mind was remembering the ease and comfort by the first drink. And my mind recorded that. So every time I got to some emotional discomfort, when it got there, I remembered the drink. Like I said, full flight of reality, outright mental defective. I had this enormous ego. I didn't know what that meant. People used to talk about in the rooms until I met my friend Perry and we broke down the Tebow papers. And I'm like, wow, that's me when I start raving sober. I'm always in a hurry. Can't get there fast enough. Yesterday is not quick enough. I'm always, I don't have the frustration either. I shut down. I got a negative thought life. Don't tell me no. I'm defiant. I'm grandiose. I'm prideful, defiant, ego, arrogant, pushy, dominant, stubborn, aggressive, attention seeking. All this is when I start Raven sober. I didn't understand. I mean, they told me that, and I can experience that now, but I didn't know back then. And I'm like, wow, this is powerful. And as I experienced the text and the information, and with my experience, I said, oh, this is what it is. I'm always trying to control things, and if I'm not running things, I'm always putting my information. If I don't know it, I think I do, and I'm never right. I might not be right, but I'm never wrong. I couldn't take accountability for my own actions. It's always somebody else's fault. That's why I reacted. And this is an unsatisfied life in a moment. It don't matter what I had, money wise. I couldn't live. I didn't know what life was about. It was real hard for me. And I'm always comparing what everybody else has, but I don't have it. And I look at you and I go out and seek it. And I try to get it. And I get it by hook or crook. And I'm always competing with other people, always be number one. I have to be number one. Whatever it is we play, I got to be number one. I like the applause. I like the status symbol of being number one. I'm always complaining and I'm complaining and criticizing. That's the unsatisfied mind. Could never be comfortable in my skin. God made me perfect as I am, but I just couldn't see it. And I said, wow. And and he said, this is step one when you start Raven sober. Irritable, restless, and discontent. Can't find no peace nowhere. And when I do find peace, it's never enough. My mind is always serving up three-dimensional problems. Alcoholism, ego, and self. And my life was unmanageable. I was playing God. And I don't have the information or the fortitude to play God. I don't know all the information, but I believe I did. And that made me really discomfort. So my mind remembers the ease and comfort by taking the first. Then my body says, give me some more. Give me some more, Rick. Give me some more. I couldn't control the amount. And I end up in strange places. And I wonder how I got there. And this went on for a while. I stopped periodically during times. And so I thought I had it under control. But no, I don't. I never did. And then, I came to the rooms and I seen different people. We normally wouldn't, I wouldn't even known you guys here on the Hollywood Squares. I mean, I wouldn't know my friend Craig or David. It wasn't for this. And we got one purpose here. We come in with a single purpose. We all have alcoholism that need to be treated. But we support each other as we go through this treatment. Although it's a power in the room, but the power of self can't change self. I wish to be philosophical, confident. I wish to be moral, but my mind can't carve that up. But I always go back to it instead of going to God. And somebody said, you need God in your life. And boom, right there, I said, no. My parents' God. I've seen people running down the aisles, calling the Holy Ghost and hair going everywhere, hats going everywhere. Everybody wants to be, and I said, wow, everybody said that needed a spiritual experience, or what they call it. And I never had it. So I think I couldn't get it because I was so dishonest. I was a cheat, liar, and a thief. And I knew that in my gut. And I said, how could God forgive me for all this stuff? And the book says we have something we can absolutely agree, a spiritual experience or a spiritual awakening. And I thank God for Emmett Fox, because he talked about the metaphysics, not the religious idea. And metaphysics is the cause. God's the cause of the manifestation. He's in charge of time, space, and matter. And that blew me away. And then my sponsor said, hey man, you need a God, man. I said, what you mean? He said, choose a God of your own conception. How limited it is. God would meet you where you're at. Arrogant as I am, I want a God big, black, and bald-headed with a beard and love me in spite of myself unconditionally. He said, you can start right there. I'm like, oh, really? He said, you need a beginning. But on this journey, your life will change on this journey. Your ideas will change as you go through this course of action. As you continue to go through this thing, you will change. And then I found out, God will be everything or he's nothing. But I believe in this power greater than myself because I'm always carving up lies. I suffer from obsession, delusions, and insanity. That means I'm unable to see the facts about life. I'm full of flight from reality. God is truth. I like what Craig said, capital T, truth. One thing God cannot do is lie. And I'm a liar. So if I'm with this God thing, maybe he can teach me some things. But some things I have to get rid of to have the access to this power. This power, it's 3 chapters on chapter 2. That's the power step. How can you get to a 4th dimension existence still carving up 3-dimensional problems in my head? I need to rely. I got to anchor my thoughts in a power greater than myself. If I don't, you get Ricky. And I found that out when my wife got sick and they made a mistake and they just, I was like you would have saw me, you would have swore I was drunk. I was a madman going to the hospital. When they used to see me coming down the hallway, they look at me and they go, oh, here he comes. They start walking the other way because I wanted to hurt somebody because they hurt my wife. And I found out, thank God for Texas T. She said, how effective is that? Although you speak in truth, how effective are you? That wasn't effective. I had to go to the 13 Corinthians and it says love. Love don't boast. Love don't love is humble. Love is charity. I didn't know how to bring that out. So I was full of fear. Fear I'm going to lose something. Fear I can't get what I want, whatever. But it never belonged to me. So why does fear exist? It's a lack of love and an intimate relationship with God in that moment. See, God got to be in the moment. If God's not in the moment, Ricky's in the moment. And Ricky's not a pretty person when he's hurt. I want to hurt others. And I want to hurt those doctors verbally. I want to hurt those doctors because they hurt my wife, hurt the wife. And that's when I lost it. I mean, really, it wasn't about the drinking. It's not about that. It's about what leads me to the drink. Fear. Based on fear. All the basic instincts, those things that in the subconscious, the 3 basic instincts, the social, security, and sexual instincts, those are in the subconscious. If I'm still drawing up old ideas through the subconscious, I'm going to get the same old reactions. If I go there and ask God and into my basic instincts, show me how to react in life, then I can react with love. But I didn't know, I lost it because emotions knock out intellect all the time. That's why it says here, alcoholism, emotional disease. Page 27 says, ideas, emotions, and attitude were the guiding force of these men that had a complete new set come to dominate them. My mind, the way I think and how I process it, with this warped mind, produce a certain emotion, and then the feelings justify the emotions, then I have an attitude and behavior. And I can't change that myself. I got to go through prayer. I call it medication. Meditation is my medication. I got to seek God, sought. It's like when you lose your cell phone. How often will you seek your cell phone? Who has one? You will seek that thing. You look for it. You got to look for God in the same purpose and the same intent. If you don't seek God in that moment, you got yourself. Page 25 said, blot not to existence in step 1 or accept spiritual help. There's no middle road solution. You're either with God or you're against God. That's it and that's all. There's no wiggle room. But my feelings will justify my emotions every time. And thank God for people like us in this program. Oh man, it wasn't for the support of you guys and it told me where God, see God, you might see me in handcuffs or you probably saw the hospital burnt down. That's how violent I can get through alcoholism, ego, and self. There's no boundary with that. It is full force. All I see is rage. God don't temper me. Who's going to temper me? But you guys say, hey, you need to see God. And I said, wow, I really do. And I remember I was in a room and I was talking to the doctors. I was talking them to in a what a loud, I'm, I'm 6'4", 250 and black, and I have a loud voice. And those little white doctors were scared. I'm yelling, and my wife, I looked in the bed, she looked horrified, like, please shut up, please shut up, please shut up. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? My daughter's over there, Pops, calm down, Pops, calm down, Pops. I'm like, she said, pray, pray. And I said, I ain't thinking about praying. I want to hurt somebody. And thankful grace of God, I didn't hurt nobody. And that really hurt me to see their face, to see what havoc Mr. Hyde, I call him Mr. Hyde, is running through the hospital, acting like a crazy man. And I didn't think I was. Alcoholism, ego, and self. Come on, man. This disease is so deadly, and when it's untreated, you don't have to have it. See, I don't think about drink. I think about getting back. And that's even worse. So it's all about being treated. Those basic instincts is the guiding force of our life. And you got to be in touch with those. That's down in the subconscious. You got to make a choice. You got to be disciplined through these steps. You can't go into step-full application without God. The first two steps are conclude. I know I have a disease. I see what it is. I see the devastation of the disease. God can bring me out in that power. So I got to utilize that power to make a decision, turn my thinking in life or to carry direction of this power, to look at myself in the basic, in my fourth column, somebody in my fifth, tell me about myself. 6, I found all the things about my disease. 7, start building a new character on going forward. How do you build this new character? Through prayer. Humble yourself. You got to humble yourself. You can't go to God on the same level as God. He is God all by himself. And I thought, I'm thinking like, well, I got this and I can do this. God is, I said, I've been worshiping everything but God. I worship his creation, but never worship as a creator. I always tell the story that an atheist and God was having a conversation. And the atheist told God, I could build my own man. God said, really, son? Go ahead. You have at it, bud. Go do what you got to do. So he got the dirt, gathering the dirt up, built his man. He's forming it up, looking real good. And God said, wait 1 second. He said, what, God? Use your own dirt. So how do you think anything belongs to you in this world? Nothing belongs to me. And when I think it belongs to me, I have an emotional attachment to that. And every time something mess with that, I get emotional. And emotional will not let you see the facts about life. It's going back to your PB brain, serving up old ideas and bringing it to the moment and think you're really doing something. And I wasn't doing anything but causing havoc and chaos. Then I had to go back and make amends to those people. Julian, you know how hard it was to go back to those doctors and make amends? I'm biting my lip or apologize for my actions. I'm like, ooh, humble pie. I think humble pie is like Reebok pie. I can't stand Reebok pie. So I had to go back and make amends to those doctors. And those doctors looked at me like, yeah, thank you. All arrogant. I'm like, and that's where my resentment come from. Incorrect judgment of others. How can I judge you with my limited information and who you think you are? You don't know what that person is going through, but I'm making a judgment in my mind. I'm acting accordingly. Who are you to do that? Incorrect believing. I believe, it's me. It's not me. And then I hurt people. And these are 3 dimensional things that kills me in the day that I'm in. I'm always reflecting, projecting to never be in the moment with God. Because the guilt remorse is there too. So how do you be a moment with God? You got to clean house. I had to clean house, and when I started cleaning house and started seeing the harm that I've done and the self-examining at night. So I never did that. I stopped doing everything for a moment. And I was sitting there crazy, couldn't sleep. So I got back on the path. And guess what? I found so much peace. And the peace comes from my relationship with God. Through you guys helping me, support me through this journey, I can find a relationship with God back where I was. And that's the most beautiful thing in the world. That be alone in peace and ease. I didn't have it for. Thank you, Craig. I didn't have it. So, continue to self-examine. I didn't want to self-examine myself because I didn't want to take accountability for what I've done. Really, that's the truth. I really didn't want to. I'm trying to blame them for what they did. And everybody makes mistakes. No one's perfect on this earth, but no one's perfect on this earth. If there's one person that was perfect, that was Christ. But I'm not him. I walk on water only when it rains, but that's it. That's no other way. And, I'm going to I don't like making mistakes. I think in my idea, in my mind, I think I'm still trying to be this perfect being. I'm never going to do that. Progress rather than perfection. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. It always materialize. If I work towards Him, I always say Him, God. So, try to carry this message and try to be useful, be a servant to others. That's an ongoing thing. I'm here to do His will, not mine. If I continue to do His will, I'll be okay right now in this moment. But I don't like to, when I'm in ego and alcoholism self, it's all about me. And it can flip like a light switch. Bloop. I never thought I would go there. And I said, God, let me show you something, son. You still need me. You still need me. You still need me. I'm here when you call for me. And that's His grace and mercy. And I thank God for that. I have it today. I'm right now in this moment, I'm treated. Right now, I'm treated. And thank God for His grace. Like I said, if you knew, always say shoot for the moon. If you're not, shoot for the moon. You miss, grab a star and hang on. Because you guys are all stars in my eyes. And thank you for letting me share a little bit.